Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts. Last time here in the Colosseum, it was a rather short episode, only about 20 or so minutes. This time we're gonna go to Deep Jungle and... I forgot... I forgot a cutscene last time.
He's always
Oops.
there for you. And
Probably should have added that on top of the last episode since, you know... It was rather short as it was. Oops.
Wait a minute. What are you worried about? All the pieces are in place. Relax. Whoa. Here's what you do. Let Hercules train the kid. In the next games, I'll take care of them both. Who invited you to the party? Stay out of this. This is my show.
As you wish. Fight to your heart's content.
So the last world of the game, and of course it isn't, it's the last world in this batch of worlds. So last episode I talked about being hungry and lunch. Right now it's 4:50 PM. I've had lunch and I've had a bit of an apple pie I was talking about, and holy hell, it's pretty fucking good. I mean, it smelled good, but anything can smell good. And it probably means it tastes pretty good. But, okay, this is gonna be a really weird episode. I can already tell. Anything, any food, but especially a pretty good, like, apple pie. It needs structural integrity as well, right? So if you just pick up a piece and it falls apart, it's not a good pie. And to be honest, I cut out some piece and I tried to eat it, and it was a little bit like iffy and squishy, but it was also still warm, and as it cools down it'll get a little bit more what's the word? Not rigid. Rigid is not a good word. It'll get some more like structure, but well, the structure is not the proper word either. It won't fall apart as much as it does now, so when it cools down a little bit, it'll be even better, but holy hell, it was good. And no, I didn't have the apple pie as my lunch. I made myself a proper lunch first, ate it, and then afterwards was like, actually, I just kind of want to taste it. I just kind of want to try like one piece, and I did, and it was good. And then I figured, well, let's go talk some more bullshit and play some Kingdom Hearts, because that is what I have planned to do today all day long. At least for the rest of the day. I mean, I have done some useful stuff. Watch the last episode if you want to know more about me doing useful stuff, and it's not that much to be honest, but I did some useful stuff, which is more than I can say from most days in my life, so I guess that's something. I don't know how long this gunship is going to take. I think we're literally almost done with it, and we're gonna have a lot of cutscenes, so I'm probably, yeah, there it is, Deep Jungle. I'm probably gonna start the story I want to talk about after those cutscenes, because it needs a lot of introduction, and I don't want to talk over those cutscenes if I can help it. I mean, if I'm in the middle of a story, I'll do it, but I won't start a story literally a minute before a cutscene. That's just stupid and disrespectful to both my story and the game. That being said, everybody knows the game already, so should I really care? I don't know. This is also the world where we're gonna get our first new keyblade. I did close the window this time. 3 episodes ago.
My head.
I didn't close the window.
Donald?
And you could hear a couple of things from outside, not as much as I would thought actually. But now it's closed, so it's gonna get real hot in here because my PlayStation and my computer are both running at pretty high capacities. And let's kill this tiger thing. It's not a tiger, it's what is it? What kind of animal is it? Oh, wait a second, Sonic Blade, of course. You can't just spam Sonic Blade in this game, you need to actually like time it, making it a lot more of a balanced move than in Chain of Memories. Which is weird because Chain of Memories came after this. And Rechain of Memories came way after this, so they might have just forgotten how to do it, I suppose. But in Rechain of Memories, it's just a matter of mashing the triangle button and you win. The entire game. It's press triangle to win. Really, that could be the whole game. Just a start menu with a quick time event for a triangle and then just 3 hours of cutscenes. It's pretty much the same thing as the whole game.
Thank you.
What is this place?
This place.
Okay.
I really am sad that Tarzan never returned in any of the Kingdom Hearts games. I know it has to do with some rights, and that's why it didn't even return in the reashes like Chain Memories and Recoded. But I really like this world.
Friends.
Right.
That being said, I don't know what they could do with it after this. I mean, I suppose... Is there a sequel to Tarzan? Is there a Tarzan 2? I know there was a cartoon
looking for my friends
based on Tarzan.
Riku and Kair.
So maybe something like that, but probably not. I don't know if there is a Tarzan 2. I don't think there is. Let's actually look this up.
Right.
Tarzan 2 movie. Oh, Tarzan 2 is definitely a thing.
Friends.
It seems like
Not sure
it's
I
a
understand,
movie
but show me. Take me to Riku and Kair.
based on...
Tarzan.
Is it actually a thing?
Tarzan. Go.
And I'm Sora.
It's a spin-off,
Sora,
and takes
go.
place when Tarzan was still a kid. But I see a screenshot here which would imply that he is talking to one of the Lion King lions, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Gosh, where are we? I sure hope Sora's okay.
Who needs them? They can find the kid without them, huh?
Oh,
Yeah, no, that is actually not a thing from the movie, probably. That's just probably some kind of fan art, I would guess. So Tarzan 2 is very much a thing, but wouldn't make a whole lot of sense seeing as how it's a spin-off set during Tarzan's youth, and we can't go back to Tarzan's youth in Kingdom Hearts, of course. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. Is there a Tarzan 3, which... I mean, The Lion King did something stupid like that, where Lion King 3 was just The Lion King 1, but from Timon and Pumbaa's perspective. So maybe The Lion King, Tarzan and Jane. It's a to DVD animation film from 2002. Tarzan and Jane. That sounds like it could be a sequel. It sounds like it probably is a sequel, as a matter of fact. So we could use that, probably, maybe. I don't know what the story is of it. It probably isn't anything good. I hadn't even ever heard of it until Googling it. And I like how when you Google Tarzan 2, of course, it comes up with Tarzan 2. But then when you Google Tarzan 3, it comes up with a movie released before Tarzan 2, but which is probably, I haven't read the article yet, so don't sue me if that's wrong, but which probably is the direct sequel to the movie Tarzan. Let's see. Well, let's watch out because I think there might be enemies here that aren't. Okay. More research. Well, stupid cutscene plays. This is really difficult because my phone automatically gives me Dutch articles.
Tarzan. Oh, and who's this?
Hi there.
It's a frame story
You speak English. So then, obviously.
with
you're not
3 separate stories, so it's not even a coherent movie.
highly doubtful.
It's set a year after Tarzan and Jane met each other.
Goofy, Donald.
So yeah, it is a sequel, but I don't think it's gonna be anything worthwhile. So if it were to come back, which it won't because of rights, it would have to be a Kingdom Hearts unique story or something based on the cartoon, one of the episodes probably. Then again, they did take massive liberties with the Kingdom Hearts version of most movies. A Nightmare Before Christmas, for instance. But also The Lion King. Mulan was pretty spot on. Beauty and the Beast is like 300% different. Up until now, we still haven't had the actual Hercules movie. Okay, my screen keeps cutting out, but the recording doesn't seem to be affected, so I'm gonna keep going. We have to find the slides. That's right. I mean, up until now, we haven't had the actual, like, movie version of Hercules, which we will get that in Kingdom Hearts 3, it looks like, probably, most likely. But that took literally 3 games. Well, it took 3 main series games, it took literally, like, 9 games. And it was also in Recoded, but that's a rehash. And it's also in Chain of Memories, but that's a rehash. And it's also in Days, but that couldn't progress the story because Sora wasn't there. So really, it's still 2 games. But they pretty much made up a story for the second game. So maybe I should keep Goofy with me because I can't use Trinity if I don't have main characters. And I'm pretty sure I'm still missing a slide as well somewhere. Aren't I? Pretty sure I should be still missing one. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just not paying. Oh, there it is. I knew I was missing one. I think I've got them all now. I've got a weird story. Some of you might know I am relatively tall. Even, like, I mean, I'm Dutch. Everybody living in this country apparently is above average as far as height goes worldwide. I'm just a little on top of that. Not, like, huge. I'm not a giant, but I'm about, I think, just under 2 meters tall, and for all of the American people out here, that is, I'll do a live conversion using Google, meter to feet, converter, I mean, it's pretty tall. I think it's like 6 feet something. Logically speaking, that would end up being 6'4" or 5. But let's say I'm not 12 meters tall. Holy hell, no, I'm not. 6'5". Actually 6.56167979. So that's actually 6'6", it seems. That would convert to. It's a little less because I think I'm like 198 and not actually 2 meters tall. When I wear my shoes, it gets to 2 meters because actually I think it's with my shoes it's 2 meters and a centimeter, something like that, 201 centimeters total. It's pretty tall, and the thing is, I am used to everyone I meet, everyone I see always being shorter than me because there's literally just not that many people taller than me. I mean, in this country and the world, relatively speaking. I mean, yes, there's probably hundreds, if not thousands of people taller than me in the world. But among 7 billion people, that's still not a lot. You catch my drift? Good. So, I was grocery shopping the other day. Because that's what you need to do if you want food, and you need food to survive. So, it's kind of a necessary thing you need to do. And when at the, checkout, I was standing behind a dude which was taller than me, and that was a really sobering experience because that doesn't tend to happen a lot to me. And when it does, I usually just see them for a second and then they disappear into the aether because they're just walking. Usually, actually, I have only ever seen people taller than me in the grocery store. Never seen them walking the street, never, like, seen them anywhere else. Just all the stories I have of people taller than me, I spot them in the grocery store. And it's not like I spend my entire life in the grocery store at all. I actually try to minimize the amount of trips I have to make to it. Because I can't be bothered to walk back and forth so much. Even though I live very close to a grocery store. Anyway, so he was taller than me, and I was standing behind him, so I had a lot of time to try to not stare at him. Because he probably gets stared at quite a bit, because he's so tall. And that makes me think. It makes me feel weird, and, gonna be honest, slightly uncomfortable to see somebody noticeably taller than me. Somebody who's like, technically taller than me? Okay, but this guy was noticeably taller than me. If I were to, like, look him in the eye, well, I would have to look up. If I just were to look straight ahead of me, I would be looking somewhere against, like, his lips or maybe even down to his chin. So he was, like, pretty much a full, about half, 3/4 of his head taller than me. That's noticeably taller, and that just doesn't happen a lot to me. That made me think, and people might take offense to me asking this, but this is a genuine question. If you're really short, and I'm not talking about like having a, like, is it called and classified as a disease, like being a dwarf? I don't know if there's like a proper way to put that. I just, you know what I mean. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just being a regular human without like any kind of like, I don't want to call it a disability, but I think technically speaking it's a disability. So I'm sorry, I'm going to call it a disability.
Wait, Kerchak, please.
If you're just a normal sized human, but small, like you're really just not that tall, you're just really short. If you see somebody noticeably shorter than you, somebody you actually have to physically look down on when you're already very short, does that make people feel the same way? I mean, I guess you can't ever compare that because I don't know how it feels to be short and those people don't know how it feels to be tall. But can anybody tell me, is there anybody watching this that's short and has met somebody significantly shorter than them, which made them feel slightly uncomfortable? Or at least made them notice like, huh, that's interesting. This person is much shorter than me. Usually I'm the shortest in like every group I ever am in, so having somebody shorter than me, it's just a little bit weird. Because that's definitely how I feel when I see somebody taller, and that's not even talking to them, they're just seeing them, really. And am I a judgmental bastard for saying and thinking that? Possibly, probably, actually, definitely, in a way, yeah. Do I care? Not particularly. Let me explain why. I don't know these people. So who gives a shit? Where are you? There you are. So that's my philosophy on being tall. It's a story I've wanted to talk about this for the past 3 episodes, because this happened to me and it's like been haunting me ever since. I just haven't had the opportunity because other things have come up. So right now I don't have any purpose for existing anymore because I've talked about that which I wanted to talk about. I can die happily now. Please don't go murder me. Please don't, like, look up where I live. Good luck trying to find that out, by the way, because it probably isn't that easy to find out. Actually, to a certain extent, if you really wanted to, you probably could find out. Just don't, please. I'd really prefer if you didn't. Not because I think anybody's actually going to try and kill me, but, you know, better be safe than sorry, I suppose. I mean, nobody's actually gonna go through the effort of trying to find out where I live, let alone to kill me. Though, if anybody wanted to find out where I lived, it probably would be to kill me, right? I mean, that would be the only reason anybody would put in that much effort. Because, like, oh, you talked about short people. You talked about, like, you called them dwarfs. you're gonna die. That's pretty much the only reason anybody would try to find out where I live. So, honest confession here, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do next. I think I'm supposed to go to all these areas and kill Heartless everywhere. And then something happens somewhere. I am not quite sure. So I'm just going to, you see, because there's a cutscene that triggers, but I still think you don't actually have to do them in every area. You might though. I genuinely don't know. So I'm just going to assume that I do, because otherwise I'm going to spend a lot of time wondering this stuff aimlessly. And if you just can go to the treehouse, because I think that's where I'm supposed to go next. Not the treehouse, actually the thing before the treehouse. I don't know what the place is called. I just want to make this episode a little bit longer because I've had three really short episodes. I mean, the first one was very long. It was 52 minutes, I think, almost. This one won't be that long, but I don't want to end it that quickly. I mean, if I just do all this for no apparent reason, that's fine. But at least it'll make this episode about 35 minutes, because I still have to do the boss fight against a big nose-like thing, mushroom-ish, fungus, I don't even know what it is. And I have to defeat the boss, and then I have to do some platforming, and by that time we're about like at least 15 minutes in, and we're already 22 minutes into this episode, so it's probably gonna be closer to 45, being honest here. I don't like these pink ones. Power Wars are actually coming back in Kingdom Hearts 3, guys. The Pirates trailer, have you guys seen it? There's like a quick scene where Sora's fighting Power Wilds in that world. And I am, for no apparent reason, so excited because I hate these Heartless. They're probably one of my least favorite Heartless ever. They don't reward you with a good amount of experience. They do give you a good amount of money, I suppose, especially the female ones. But they're annoying to deal with. And they don't give you anything good in particular. I mean, they give you an acceptable amount of experience, but nothing that, like... I think they're about the same. They're just a little more than a soldier. I think they're like 1.5 soldiers as far as experience go. I think they're 4 or 5 and a soldier is 2 or 3. I don't know. They're just not that much more useful for grinding anything, but they are quite a pain to deal with. So I think after I defeat the guys over here, and then over in the treehouse, and then go back to the tent, I'll see Jane missing, and then I come back here, and then I do the thing, and then I go back to Clayton, and then I do the thing against him, and then that's the end of this world. I think that's the things I'm supposed to do. I could be horribly mistaken though. I'm quite frankly not sure. Also, this world is very interesting since I didn't even mention it. In the Final Mix version, there's a number of special Heartless which give you special drops. In Wonderland, there's the Geiger Shadows, and the end of the world is the Neo Shadows, and here there's actually 2. There's the pink fungus thing which will appear in the treehouse. Right at the point we're standing right here. And okay, so what's next? I've done all the areas. You see, I don't know. That will appear in the treehouse, but we also saw the I don't know what it's called. I always call a Black Nocturne thing. I don't know if there's any reason to be called that, but I just call it that, and I've gotten used to calling it that, so you better get used to me calling it that. Do I have to go over here for some reason? I might. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, this world actually has 2 of them, and I think it's the only world that has 2. And why they're both in this world? I have no idea. I really don't. The interesting thing though is that those special Heartless are pretty much the same as the Mushroom Organization from Kingdom Hearts 2. Most of those minigames can be in one way or another related to the Mushroom 13. The pink one you have to hit 100 times after casting Stop on it, which is a lot like the sleeping one in Agrabah in Kingdom Hearts 2, and the black thing is literally the same as the one in Port Royal. I don't think I quite did what I was supposed to do. You hope Mr. Clayton is safe. Well, I don't. I had to go back in the tent. Oh, I totally forgot about that fight. I still have to fight Saber again, and for the final time this time. I don't think you have to go through... Oh my god, I just finally realized something. I always thought that was... First when I played this game way back in the day, like probably literally 15 years ago at this point, I thought that it was just Saber having taken a shit on that rock. I wasn't a very smart kid. That being said, there's little to no detail there. Then later I figured, oh, it's one of the rounds from Kratos' shotgun. Which makes little to no sense as well. Only now do I realize it's his pipe. Probably should have realized it a little bit sooner. I didn't. So I think you don't even have to go all over the map and collect all the gummy pieces. You might have to, I don't know. But maybe just going outside and back in triggers that cutscene as well? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we won't because I can't test it. I'm not going to test it, but we can progress with the game now, and that's the most important part. And as I said, even if it wasn't necessary what I did, I at least made the episode a little bit longer. Which I suppose can't hardly be a bad thing, right? Well, it very much could be a bad thing, but if you think more content is bad because it's slower, that's actually a very good point. But I would still please ask you to not complain too much about this. I'm just having a little bit of fun. And I know this entire game inside out, pretty much. The only two parts that are a little bit of a mystery to me are Deep Jungle. Actually, Atlantica is a little bit of a mystery to me as well. And to a certain extent, but not as much as you might think, the first part of Hollow Bastion where you don't have your Keyblade. That one messes me up as well, quite a bit. But other than that, I'm fine. I know this game like the insides of my own hands and pockets and whatever. I don't know what the saying is. The backs of my hands, that is it. The thing I get confused by is I try to use the Dutch version and the English version at the same time. I've been doing that quite a lot lately, trying to say two things at once, but not in two different languages while one of them is translated. Because, of course, the English version is, I know this like the back of my own hand. The Dutch version would translate to, I know this place like the inside of my own pockets, which makes about as much sense, which means not at all, really. I just kind of mixed them up, and I think I made a better saying because of it. So please, everybody, start saying that right now. I know it like the... What did I say? I said something stupid and I don't remember what it was. That can't be a good thing. Okay, so we'll make a new one. I know there's like the inside of my own head. No, actually, let's not do that. That's gross. That's just a lot of bones and muscles and flesh and blood. A lot of blood. Your hands, they get pretty bloody when you cut them up. There's a lot of veins in your hands. Also, I wanted to jump there, but hey, I guess cutting up trees also works, apparently. I'm not even paying attention to how I'm playing this game. I'm just mashing buttons and going to the hopefully the right direction without skipping anything. Because again, even though I've played this game about 5 million times, I've skipped Atlantica a couple of times, so that explains why I don't know Atlantica as well. You have to play Deep Jungle every time. And I still don't know Deep Jungle all that well. That being said, I did go in the right direction here. And I feel like I executed Deep Jungle perfectly. I just did everything I was supposed to do.
No!
I just kinda didn't know if it was right what I was doing. Even though it was. I think that is how this went down. So this boss fight is a really, really boring one.
Not Clayton.
Let's be honest, yeah. I mean, it's fun, the fact that after defeating the first phase of Clayton, which is literally going to be like, why did I level up? Literally 2 combos, I was going to say. I think that might have been 3, actually. I wasn't paying attention. You got a fight where he mounts another Heartless, and then you can throw him off, and then it's a fight against 2 enemies at the same time, but you don't actually have to defeat the Heartless. You only have to defeat Clayton, or the other way around. No, you only have to defeat Clayton, I'm pretty sure. Or do you have to defeat Bo? I think you only have to defeat Clayton. But of course, defeating the Heartless gives a lot of experience. And since I'm on beginner mode, I could really use all the experience I can get. No, it's just mostly a matter of it's so damn easy to kill this thing, I might as well do it. You see, normally at this amount of HP, he's already thrown off Clayton, because it's a mixture between a timer and an HP trigger, I think. You see? Might as well. Okay, Clayton, there you go. Beginner mode is actually too easy. I probably should have done standard. I remember now. Oh, tech boost, that's a really good one. I remember now. It used to be called standard or expert mode. And now it's beginner, and there's 3 modes now, so I suppose it still is called proud in this version, but if it isn't, it's standard, beginner, standard, and experts is what it's called. He dead. All things considered, it should release 2 hearts at this point, because Clayton kind of disappears as well. Which is even more reason there shouldn't be a second one. Finally got a cure in Kingdom Hearts 3 for this world. Again, other than licensing, there's no antagonist. They probably knew there was only going to be 1 Tarzan world because of licensing, and because they literally couldn't do anything else with it. Then again, both Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2 took huge liberties with The Nightmare Before Christmas. To the point where neither of them really has anything to do with your original film. I mean, slightly, I guess. In the first one, in this game, Oogie Boogie's being a bit of an asshole and you go to his mansion, and that happens in the film. And in the second one, Christmas Town is a thing, and that happens in the film. That is really the only relation between the film and these games. So I can't help but feel that if the licensing was in order, they would make up something that would work for Tarzan. And it's not like other things like The Nightmare Before Christmas are particularly well suited to the themes of Kingdom Hearts, because they're made to fit. And Tarzan, I'm not going to say Tarzan will particularly fit Kingdom Hearts' themes very well. Most of the films translated to movies, translated to worlds in this game, don't naturally fit all that well. If anything, Star Wars would fit the best, because there's a light side and a dark side. Then they're probably not going to include Star Wars like at all. And certain Marvel films might kind of do the trick as well, but probably not. What? Okay. Let's just do it this way then. I suppose that does the trick as well. 35 minutes is actually a pretty good guess, because we're going to get another cutscene and then we're going to be done with this episode for today. So, there you go. About 40 minutes maybe.
This is your home? But that means... Huh?
The waterfalls. They're echoing all the way.
There's a really good thing, actually. Next episode is probably going to be a little bit shorter because it's Traverse Town Part 2. And I have to fight the opposite armor and all that kind of good stuff. And the Merlin side quest giving him the poo book, but I won't go into 100 Acre Wood. But I also have to go back through 2 gummy routes in order to get back to Traverse Town, which will give me a couple extra minutes of content. So that balances out a little bit of a shorter episode anyway. And the fact that I'm now doing a little bit of a longer episode again. And the episode after that is going to be Agrabah. And Agrabah is going to be decently long as well. And after that I think we'll run into Monstro or Halloween Town. Halloween Town will be a little bit longer. Monstro will be insanely short. Monstro is a maze, but if you know what you're doing in Monstro, you can be... Cutscenes not included outside in like 10 minutes, I think. Because it's literally going through like 3 doors, fighting a boss fight, going through 2 other doors, fighting a boss fight again, and that's it. Add on some cutscenes there and it'll probably be a 20-minute episode. Because there's not a lot of cutscenes either, it's a really short world. I wonder how Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to do, because supposedly those worlds are going to be very, very, very long. So I'm still probably going to do 1 video a world there. I might just like go daily uploads for Kingdom Hearts 3 just because it's Kingdom Hearts 3 and everybody's been waiting for it, and just like skip a top 10 or top 5 video that week or for 2 weeks. I might just like do daily uploads and then skip or dual uploader. I don't know. It's gonna be half a year before that's released, so we'll figure it out when we get there.
That was the bait. But it seems the bait was too tasty for his own good.
Yeah, he got chopped instead.
A weak-hearted fool like him stood no chance against the Heartless. But the boy is a problem. He found one of the keyhole.
Actually, he found 2.
Fear not. It will take him ages to find the rift. Besides, he remains blissfully unaware of our other plan.
Yes, the princesses.
They are falling into our hands one by one. Speaking of which...
Wait a second. You could, in theory... Oh, this cutscene just happens after you've done all 4. I was going to say, in theory, you could go to Olympus Coliseum first and then Deep Jungle and then Wonderland. And I suppose this cutscene would only play after you finish Wonderland in that case? I guess? I don't know. I think so. Okay, so at the end of this episode, we also learned Red Trinity, so that will give us some extra... No, wait a second. I don't want to go back into the gummy ships, I just want to go back into Deep Jungle and do the gummy ships next time. Is that too much to ask for? Apparently it is. Normal drive, thank you very much. Can't be that hard to just listen to what the player wants, can it now? Okay, items. Sorry, equipment. Sora, Jungle Key. It's a little stronger. It's actually has a longer reach, it says, than the Kingdom Key, which seems to be true. Deals critical. Seldom deals critical blows, so that's a little bit less good. But it has 2 more strength, and it looks good. So let's just use it because of that. Let's see, AP is not that important, strength for Goofy, and honestly defense and AP for tunnel don't seem too bad of an idea. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Play Kingdom Hearts. Until the next time, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to let me know. My brain kind of broke there. To stay up to date with my content, and if you enjoyed it and all, and I'm just happy that I didn't have to give another 20-minute episode. I got a 40-minute episode, so next time will be a little bit shorter, but after that we'll have 1 or 2 longer episodes, and depending on when we get Monstro, we'll have a shorter episode maybe in between, or after that, or whatever. We'll see as we go along. Until the next time, I'll see you all then. Bye.